My leg! Exclusively on iTunes. Hey guys, welcome to Cartoon Chat. I'm
we're gonna keep that in?
No, we're not gonna keep that in. That would scar Kevin for life. Oh my god.
Can you just stop this recording? Or are you gonna keep
No, I'll edit it out. It's cool. I've had to go through rigorous with the first Google Hangout. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to Cartoon Chat. I'm Brian Swan, joined alongside
K9 Biscuits.
And we just came back from seeing Isle of Dogs. I don't think there is, in summary, this is everything that, if you were to say best animated feature and have it in a dictionary, this is the definition.
You'll find a DVD. The dictionary comes with a free DVD. Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Yeah.
The encyclopedia, I mean, just for you look up best picture and it's it's right there.
Exactly. Yeah, makes it easy. Yeah, like I said before, the level of detail, and we were talking about this on the immediately leaving. I've seen this twice. This was your first time viewing it, but both times it was the level of detail, the sound design, the sound quality, the music, the characters. All of it was very well executed, and there was no moment of just there was no cringeworthy moment. It was all fluid, and it was all just something to watch.
This whole movie, I just felt weird because it was just such a new experience. It's it's nothing, and there's nothing else that just kind of feels like this for me. It's just it's how casual all the conversations are between the characters. It's every character sounds dry, but they're all fun characters and you feel for them. This movie still holds a lot of emotion, more emotions than most movies do. Period. Not even just anime movies, most movies. I really love this movie. I don't have a top 5 list or top 3 list of it. If I had a list of top 3 animated movies of ever existing,
right.
I don't have a list yet because that's too hard to think about. But this is definitely on on one of those numbers. Be on that list. I love this movie.
Of course. Ladies and gentlemen, we went through so many edits in the past 30 minutes that I'm sorry, I'm laughing. A little behind the curtain moment there.
We went through so many messed up recordings and we realized that it wasn't even recording the messed up recordings.
Yes, so if it sounds a little off, that's because it's a little off.
You should probably do a little transition sound effect between weird cuts.
I'll do something with that. Probably some cartoon thing. Or use some reference.
I'll probably just use a quick tune do the Cartoon Friends tune do, and then just cut off the next part.
Right.
It's a quick 3-second or 2-second tune.
Exactly. Yeah, that would make it easy. That would make it easy. But Isle of Dogs though. We've been trying to get a conversation about this for the past hour, and it's fallen into disarray. This movie, I love that in the beginning. I don't know if you saw this because you got in the beginning of the movie, around the beginning of the movie. But they start off with a prompt that says, "All humans speak in Japanese unless translated, and all dogs are translated into English. All barks are translated into English." I
came in when they started playing on the drums.
You were just right before that then. Right
before that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't miss anything, did I?
No.
Okay. Because I was trying, while I was going on, I was trying to where the heck? Because I got to because I was still playing games with Darius at the house for a while, and I was trying to help him pack up.
Yeah.
This is one of our friends.
Cool.
But I got to the theater around because the showtime was at 1:40, and I got to the theater at 1:44, and I got there just I'm oh, just start, guys. I saw the title, oh, thank goodness, it just started. And I was trying to look for you in the theater because the beginning of the movie is just a bunch of dark scene, a bunch of darkly lit scenes. Yeah. I was oh, come on, get to a brighter scene already.
That's why I didn't see you. You were Brian. I was so in the scene in the moment. And it was so dark.
I was sitting there for a while because I saw you. I was waiting there till it gets to a lighter scene. Come on, get to daylight. Oh, and then when finally gets to the dog being deported.
Right.
During daylight. I'm like, yeah, it was like that scene because it was actually bright.
Oh, because it was in the conference scene with the mayor. And for that long time, it was a very darker scene.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because it made the whole theater room dark, and you couldn't see anybody.
True. Yeah.
So like when they finally got to see him being outside, I was like, Bryan, Bryan.
It's like, when did he show up?
I'm gonna be down in that seat, and Bryan was just like, oh, okay,
thumbs up, yeah, it's good, yeah. Okay.
No, he was like, oh, okay, just shut the fuck up. You're embarrassing me in the theater.
This movie is fucking gospel. But the tone. That's one thing that I think a lot of movies have an issue with, especially animated movies. If they want to have a serious tone, if they want to have. You don't really understand the theme that they want to go with, especially if they're a more generic style movie where they want to go with a romance tone or a more actiony tone, or if they just want to have a more fun, campy tone. This stays consistent as just this solid adventure story that's not too happy or whatever.
It's not too serious. It's not too comedic.
Right.
It doesn't overplay anything. It doesn't underplay anything. It keeps everything so solid. It's just surprising how solid it keeps everything. And the jokes, the jokes are not just anything that's cheeky and charming. The jokes are all these jokes are just laugh out loud jokes. They just made me laugh so hard, and it's and yet the tone is still consistently serious.
Exactly.
Because I felt the stakes in this movie.
Right.
I felt I'm worried for these characters.
Right.
This is especially when you get to that big climactic scene. It's I'm worried that some of these guys might die, or it's too close to call.
True. You fall in love with these characters because each of the dogs has their own sort of personality, and all of them are just these interesting styles to go off on. I don't have all the names immediately on
Chief, Duke, Boss. Spot's a missing one, so he's not part of that.
That's not Spots, but yeah, Spots is another dog. But
okay.
You have this lineup and they all are individually unique. I love that, and I love the fact that one of them constantly shares rumors. And I think that was funny. It was the dialogue was way more mature than just these back and forth sort of generic scripts that you find in a lot of animated movies. It felt like this was Wes Anderson and the scriptwriter speaking at an adult level, just dogs talking to each other. Also, many of the moments when the dogs were moving, and the moment when the stray, the moment when he says, I wasn't always a stray. The moment that was and the dogs reacted as if they were actually dogs.
It's
they all
casual. It's because I love these characters so much. It feels like it's just any scene that's just just them talking. It's so interesting because if it doesn't feel like these are characters you're spectating. It just feels like it's a group of people you're hanging out with.
Exactly.
And that you want to hang out with. I really love these dogs and how they have conversation with each other. I guess one of my favorite jokes is in the beginning when they're fighting over the first garbage.
Oh, that was so
and they're trying to figure out if it's worth it or not. That scene had me cracked up.
Yeah, they had presented that scene in a clip. They had shown that clip in a YouTube clip a couple of weeks prior to the movie's release, and then I was worried that when I saw it again, I would be like, okay, well, I've seen this again. Every time I've seen this movie twice, I still laugh at that moment where it's worth it. Go for it. Because it's just the timing, and you see how that group really handles things and why they are a group, why they work together so well, why this group has been, so cohesive. Because of the way in which they all are dynamically different and how they all work together at the same time. That was just a great way to show that pack. And I thought that was hilarious. Also, great opening sort of fight because you get to see, okay, this isn't an elementary thing because the dude bites his ear off.
Yeah.
It's all right,
this movie's not afraid to be gruesome. It's, I was surprised I was PG-13. You don't get many, you get rated R movies sometimes. And rated R anime movies sometimes. And, of course, anything below, anything PG and below. But, it's not often you get a PG-13 movie.
Right.
I mean, the last one I can remember is The Simpsons.
That's right. Yeah. Man, it's been a while too.
Like probably Fantastic Mr. Fox is PG-13, but like
right, you know.
But
this went further than Fantastic Mr. Fox as well.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, you when you look at the storyline as well, what I loved is the fact that you have this. You can't really point in the time period, like you sort of can, but it's like there are things that are set that they didn't have, that like the robotic technology wasn't around a certain time that they're presenting the world, but then like it's a fictional world. I like the fact that the world isn't like set in stone. Everything's supposed to be as it was at the time period. Everything's sort of, it fits in that world. The world fits for what it's supposed to be, and I like that. It's so naturally designed.
It feels grounded, yet it's not afraid to like be like a kind of cartoony or animated, because all those little fights are old style cartoon dust ball fights.
I love that,
and I loved it every time. It wasn't like any gruesome, well shot action scene. It was just a dust ball fight.
Yep.
And it's like it gets the point across. Yeah, it's just a fight.
It's a fight.
It's a fight, and it's just I loved it every time.
Right.
It was just like because like barely any movies ever use that, and it's just so creative.
Yeah, I mean, going back to tone, I'm not trying to go back and forth here, but I'm just hitting some of the portions that were really awesome and really special to remember about this movie. There was a moment, of course, where you really get this tone where, and we talked about this on the walk back to the bus stop, where there's a scene where where the dogs and I'm almost saying Tadashi, which is from Big Hero 6. Man, how am I forgetting the names that quickly? You have the group essentially trying to find
the kid's name is Atari.
Thank you, Atari.
I wasn't sure who he was talking about first.
Yeah, you have Atari and the dogs, and they're all going.
I remember that name because like wait, what? Yeah. I was like wait, why is he why is he working for like the game company? And there's like, oh, that's his name. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And Atari and the pack are all in this sort of raised. I'm trying to recall. Like it's like almost like a cart, but it's hanging on a thread. I love the way that they have those two. Like that's just a thing that's there, and it, like you said, it fits for the world. It fits for the world that they're in. It's fanciful, but it feels realistic in the world that they're in. They're on one of these carts and they're riding along, and it splits off, and they're like, "Well, this isn't supposed to happen." It's like, "All right, well then let's meet somewhere," and they're arguing about it. And just out of the blue, it cuts to the compacted. The group goes into a compacted. I'm not telling the story well enough. They go through a recycling machine. Half the group gets tossed into a recycling machine, and we expect them to die, right? Because they don't give you anything else to know about this machine.
Yeah, and like the Black Dog Chief says, "Oh, my friends are probably dead."
Right, they just move on with it. Yeah, and like we were talking about with the other studios, there is a point in which the other studios do this thing where they emotionally manipulate their audience very well. This is something that Pixar did with Finding Dory a lot, where you hit a moment where that.
Or some of their other movies.
Yes,
even the ones we love, they still do it too.
Exactly. Yeah, where you have this big moment. You have this moment where the characters are in danger or could be in danger, and even if they're not, you still raise the stakes. You raise the music. You raise the themes up. You raise the musical score that would present a sort of sad feeling to get the audience on.
It's pretty much telling the audience, okay, feel this.
Right. And they didn't do that. They just had the audience reacted next to me. It's like everyone's just like, whoa, like everyone's like shocked, like, oh man. And even us were like, man, are they like dead? Are they? Is that it? Because of course, what I thought was so well was the scene before was of one of the other party candidates dying, being poisoned by the mayor, and so that scene happens. You just cut to the next scene, which is them on that cart. It's like, all right, well, we just saw a death already. This should not be surprising.
This movie managed to do something that hasn't been done in a while for me, and that's like get me like choked up, that hasn't happened since Toy Story 3, man.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't had an anime movie do that for me in a while.
Yeah, it was I don't know if that was maybe Kubo. I don't know if I feel the same way though, where it's like it's very rare, and on top of that, it's rare that a movie that isn't emotionally manipulating you.
I'll be fair. Coco did it for me a little bit, but like not. I'd say like Toy Story 3 did it. Definitely caught me more, but like this one just caught me.
Yeah, we're recording at the moment. Okay, we're recording. Thank you.
I'll make sure it's still recording, and then like lose our recording.
Why the fuck would you?
What?
Why the fuck would you interrupt like that? Come on, go to E4. God.
My eyes!
It's the worst possible thing. Yeah.
Would you like to see the end of the world? Sure.
Fuck, what were we talking about?
Score manipulation.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit, Coco got me choked up a little bit. Not on the scale of Toy Story 3 and Isle of Dogs did.
Yeah.
But like this one, yeah, the Isle of Dogs just like, it caught me, man, with the feels.
It did it without the need to force you to feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the benefit. That was what I found. Like, Wes Anderson treats the viewers like adults. Feel what you think. Interpret this film how you will interpret it. Not how a film score would interpret it. Not how we will force you to interpret it. Not to prompt you to interpret it. How would you interpret it?
Because music is always to like show the tone of the movie. Like, if you're just telling the audience, "Hey, this is a funny scene. This is a scene that doesn't matter." You just have generic, like, comedy music, or like this is an important scene. You have the score with like the music with the violins and trumpets.
Right. No, I mean,
I'm doing a terrible impression of like heavy score music, but like just something of that.
Perfect timing of that would have been the perfect example of timing of that would have been when Atari's plane kind of falls out of the sky. Like there was no hilarious score moment of like as it flies up and falls to the ground. There was no like
no mysterious.
That was no score whatsoever. Just
the music is like I mean I would talk about how. I can't talk about how good the music is because I don't remember it. But that's the thing about it. It didn't need it.
It didn't need to be. It didn't need to be remembered. But when it was on, it felt good. It matched the tone perfectly. I don't know how to explain it, but it matched the tone. Whenever there was a scene like when when Chief is helping Atari up that hill, and it's like then the song comes back. Whatever theme that was in the middle of the movie, essentially, that almost perfectly captured. That just the tone, and it fit. It wasn't like having a pop song in Trolls in the middle of a scene. It's like, hey, there's that's two dynamically different ways of going about it and taking your audience seriously.
Yeah.
And not just trying to get a quick buck off of music rights. I think that when you look at this movie and you look at the fact that the sound is just so well designed and the music is so well designed, there's just. Like I've said multiple times before, this is a perfect movie, especially when you look at the sound design and the music timing of it. But yeah, going back to that scene with the plane, it's like that could have been a comedy moment. You have a bunch of goofy things, kids laughing, all that stuff. It's like kids were laughing without the need of that because they were like, okay, this is kind of funny. The plane goes up, he's like trying to save it, comes back down. That's like, all right, the kids are already in their minds thinking that's a funny moment. You don't need to have anything amplified for that, so that the adults in the scene are just like, oh man. This is happening. Like everyone's interpreting it their own way. There's no sound to actually present that to you.
Yeah.
And then the dog is that one dog is the only one that says something. It's like, oh wow.
Wow.
Like then that's the dog's interpretation of it. That's not the audience. That's just the dialogue of one character, and that's it. Everyone else is like, oh, that just happened. And I really just appreciate something like that, taking the audience seriously. I can't say that enough because. One of the things that I was really hoping for was that, we get this increased amount of sort of not serious, but just more mature animated movies where like, Sausage Party was cool because it was like, all right, you can make an animated movie, make money off of the fact that it was for adults, but it was just like goofy. It was like, okay, let's say as many curse words as we can. Let's have some sex jokes. Let's have an orgy joke. Let's go from there. This is a movie where it's like, all right, we can take our audience seriously. We can act like adults with this, and that's what I love about it.
Well, yeah, what helped is like I didn't know the rating ahead of time before I came in. I thought this was just PG, and then like in the first 10 minutes, somebody's ear getting bitten off. I'm like, whoa, whoa.
What's going on here? Yeah.
A kid has
Toy Story.
a kid is impaled in the head with a plane part.
Right. And he's dealing with that for the entire movie. Yeah.
People lose an eye. This movie, you see surgery being done.
Yeah, I was.
You see a Japanese guy make fish.
Exactly. Yeah, I was also surprised by that, but I liked the fact that they went through it all. You know, it's like, oh, let's make some food, and it's like I thought it was like, okay, just extra detail, extra toppings. Not even a necessary scene, but just extra toppings.
Yeah.
And just the level of detail, the fact that they just show it like that.
Yeah, because what really helps those scenes, like. We gotta take a moment to talk about this. Animation's gorgeous. I love stop motion. This is like one of the best stop motion animations I've ever seen. This is the best stop motion animation I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Why I love the stop motion, because like you can feel the textures. It's like with good cinematography. It's like when you feel like you're in the setting of the movie. Yes, like yep. When you don't see the theater screen anymore. You just see the movie and you see yourself in there.
Yeah.
And that's good cinematography. And like what helps is like the more like with anime movies, what helps is like the more realistic textures are, the more you feel like you're there. And like I love the use of stop motion animation here. They just use it in clever ways. They do a lot of cartoony things. They just animate in stop motion anime, like the dust ball fight we're talking about.
The dust balls in general.
Yeah, when air tenders
like crashing or whatever. It's
like every time they sneeze too.
Right. Yeah.
That's why you can't the scene with the Japanese guy making fish. The movie doesn't need that anyway. It can just say he just made fish.
Yeah.
But it's slow and it's taking its time to show like how he's preparing everything. But I love this animation so much. I would in other movies, I would mind it. This movie, I just love looking at it.
That's what's so that I feel the same exact way. You know, this is, and you know, if you want to compare, I want to compare. You look at something like Early Man. I really respected Early Man. I thought there was a cool movie, a fun movie with an average plot line, and a much evolved Aardman animation. Art form.
To be fair, I think I'd say it's like one of Aardman's weakest.
That's the thing. The storyline was just the storyline was painfully average. It felt like something Illumination could have made. Not to insult them, but it just feels like an Illumination entertainment movie.
Not saying Illumination makes bad movies; they make generic ones.
That's that's the failure of Early Man.
No,
compared
they don't make all bad movies.
No,
they made some.
Minions, but you look at Early Man, another release in 2018. And you look at this, and it's not even close. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect Aardman in any way, shape, or form. I love their movies, but these are two different studios doing completely different things, doing completely different tones. One is going for a kid audience and making kid jokes. This one was, let's just have the audience understand it from any person's perspective, treat them as they are, and that's what the greatest movies do. That's what Lion King does. That's what Spirited Away does. That's what a lot of the top tier, most iconic films that you can think of just do nonstop, you know? And that's what Isle of Dogs executes.
Oh yeah, this movie's great. What I like is you get a sense that the overarching enemy is cat people.
Right.
But the thing is, you don't get a single characterized cat.
That's what's
you
fun.
Get a characterized owl.
Yep.
That's the only animal that's characterized, not a dog. But you don't get a single characterized cat. You see people with cats, and I love to look at the cats. They're so the cats are evil looking, but they just have these a very grumpy face.
Exactly.
like with enclosed eyes. But like none of the cats are characterized. None of the cats have like any sort of emotions or like they're not even characters.
They're not emotive.
They're not. Yeah, they're not characters in the story at all.
Yep.
But they're just this overarching like thing, like this big thing. Like you can tell they have a big influence on the plot.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, they went so far with that, it's like, you don't even notice. I didn't notice the first time I saw the movie, but, like, every single, all their, like, not ships, but, the hovercraft that they had, the hovercraft that the family, the dynasty had cats at the bottom. So if you remember, if you remember, like, when the robotic machines come down to pick up, Atari and the dogs, the first time, like, there's a cat symbol, like when they look up, there's like a cat symbol. Like the cats are just so a part of that dynasty that's been trying to get dogs eliminated, and it's such a driving force of this movie that you don't even realize, it's Cats versus Dogs, but it was Cats versus Dogs.
Yeah,
it takes the movie Cats versus Dogs and just goes
extremely subtle.
Yeah, it's funny. I love it. I love it. And if they didn't even make a big deal out of it, they just were like, all right.
Yeah, the dogs don't even mention cats. Yeah, at all.
Nope. It's just like, they're...
Nobody mentions cats, actually.
Nope. And I like the fact that, we also get the understanding of, I wouldn't say secondary characters, but our antagonist, which isn't really an antagonist because he has a moment of definition by the end that defines his character, and it's like, all right, I'm going to stand up against this. I'm just following the dynasty, and that sort of pushes away from the traditional style that his family's been with of destroying the dogs. But we have that scientist group. I can't remember what their names were at all, but we had the scientist group that they found the cure. They were researching the cure. They found the cure like midway through the movie, and we're like, all right, well, what's going to happen with this? And obviously it gets pretty much destroyed.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right,
I love all the high tech machinery. They just put like this blue bottle through the spinning tube, and they just you see like like electric light show.
I'm also curious. Was that hand? I'm sure that was hand drawn animation. There were moments like when I want to talk about the hand drawn animation where like
it was always through security cameras.
It was always through security cameras with the television. Whatever they see, their perspective of themselves, the perspective of themselves in that world. Of the humans in that world are of themselves as hand-drawn, almost like anime style. Yeah. And I thought that was like, wow, that's like such an interesting dynamic
there's one guy in the news, he had like an animated body, but like his head was not realistic. It was a stop-motion animation head. Right. And it's kind of like a South Park-ish thing.
Yeah, it was
it was weird, but it was interesting weird.
Yep. I think another portion of detail, I know we're just going on with detail.
We have to. This movie's great. It deserves it.
That first scene where we see the mayor, is it? And it's his face. You get one shot. You get a solid shot of his face on the banner, in that conference hall. Yes. And it's just so detailed. Oh. Like it looks like you're actually looking at a person's face. It doesn't look like light stop more. This was so delicately well done, and I was like, like I said, I've seen it twice. It's like that just looks so good, like it just blows me away every time I see it. It's like the level of detail. Then you look at they cut back. It's the entire like. I'm sorry. Throughout the entire movie, there's just moments that just are like wow, like the moment that Atari gets out of the plane the first time. And the clouds above him are like not clouds, but they look like clouds, and below him it's like papers. They both look essentially the same, if you recall. Yeah. And that looks so good. I really appreciate that level of detail. I in a world of constant like CGI everywhere, the stop motion and the evolving nature of the stop motion in this movie, I cannot say enough how awesome it is.
It's not even just stop motion; it's just like this type of stop motion. It you can tell it looks like no close to CG because the movement is not even fluid. It's like you can tell it's just very. It's like 20 frames per second or something. It's like it's weird, but it's like I love looking at it because you can tell it's they're moving figures to tell a story.
Right. It's so good, so good. Yeah, I think additionally you have to look at the voice cast as well. Let me pull up the voice cast of Isle of Dogs here, but there's a brilliant lineup of just great actors in this movie. When you look at the fact that the dogs are all like played by a number of iconic actors, which I can zoom in and find here.
We'll be back after these messages. And now back to our show.
Yeah, they have a number of actors in here. You have Bryan Cranston, you have Edward Norton, Bill Murray. I didn't know Bill Murray was in for some reason I didn't even realize Bill Murray was there. It's just like the voice cast.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, Bill Balaban, which I don't know. Kenichi Nomura, probably the guy that was doing the great acting for the mayor, I'm sure, if not the kid. Ken Watanabe, Greta Gerwig. It just goes on, and Liev Schreiber, like Scarlett Johansson. This is such a great voice cast. It adds another dynamic because the detail and in the inflection of their voices at times when they're like talking and they're having back and forth dialogue. I love the dialogue between what is her name? I keep thinking of Cream Puff for some reason.
Oh, was it the girl dog?
The girl dog.
Nutmeg.
I love that between Chief and Nutmeg, where it's like, again, not going for that romance dynamic. I mean, they're going for the romance dynamic, but they're just frank about it. Just not
casual,
not super lovey-dovey, just casual. We're on a trash island. I'm just meeting you for the first time. Let me greet myself. Let me introduce myself.
These people feel incredibly real.
Yep, the dogs feel
incredibly real. Yeah.
Well, so do the people, though. And that's the great thing about it. You have the... At times, the first time I saw it, I was cringing at the young student council member, the American.
Yeah.
I was cringing at that, but then it's like she's a middle school or high school student that is protesting against the system. That is exactly how they would act. That fits that role. Her acting, her conspiracy theory, the way in which she goes about it, the way that she has that tone, it makes sense. She's a kid. She's trying to find out things, and at first, like I said, I was cringing about it, but that's more natural. That's more natural of a personality that wants to find out something than when you're not trying to find out.
I just want to say the Japanese Skullgirl outfit looks so weird in a character that's not from anime. Like, the legs are so long. It just, like, it looks...
That's true.
It looks so long. That just looks so weird.
That and this... I think they were trying to make her more unique as well, because you have everyone else that looked a little more fitting in the world, and then she looked a little bit outside of that. She
was the only one standing up, so she was the only one you saw in the...
That's also true.
Because, like, it's like, Jesus, her legs are long.
Right. Yeah. I really appreciated this story as well. I want to try and get the story through as we're talking about this. Of course, we start with the fact that all the dogs have dog flu. All the dogs have snout fever.
Yes.
And if it's not ticks, if it's something else, they have some. Essentially, there's a worry that if the dogs exist in the human population any longer, it will affect the human population and might start to kill them as well. So they push them over to the trash island, even though all of that is actually just manufactured by the mayor and his team of evil scientists.
Yeah.
They push all the dogs to trash island. That takes care of all the dogs, and we end up with the pack. Watching this pack sort of develop. This is where we find the first battle for the food that drops out of one of the first that drops out of the I don't even know what they're called. They don't really
trash droppers. I don't know.
Right. Whatever the machines are that carry the food, that carry the trash into the trash island, drops trash, and that's where the first time we really see the pack, And again, I love that sort of Western style look that they gave them, where it's like, all right, we see the enemy first approaching, or we see the one pack of dogs approaching, and then we see our actual pack that will be following, and yeah, we understand their dynamic within the first battle. We understand what makes them great. From that point forward, they see the kid, Atari, crash land his plane. Kid crash lands his plane. Again, we see another reason why they work so well. They vote on whatever they're going to do. They go back and forth, they argue, but they still have this fair and sort of weird dynamic where it's just like, all right, we'll accept it. Even if we're outvoted, we're not going to lose our minds. We're just going to accept whatever the group has voted on.
Yeah.
And go from there. They realize that he's looking for his lost dog spots. This is one of the first dynamics where we find that the English-speaking dogs, or the dogs that are barking but speak English in our own translation, they can't understand what he's saying because he's Japanese.
Yeah, I love the way they handle the everybody's language in this movie, because like the human characters, most of the human characters speak Japanese.
Right.
And there's, like, what got me is, like, wait, when the subtitles coming up? There's no subtitles.
Yeah.
But, like, they always found a way. It's, like, it didn't matter. They always found a way to, like, you would have to just get what's going on through the visuals,
yep,
or they would just, like, find some clever way to translate it. Like, there was a translator who was translating all the news.
Exactly.
The main girl who was a part of the pro dog
squadron,
pro dog squadron, when she was a foreign exchange student.
Exactly.
So she spoke English, and the dogs they just speak English.
Yep. And I thought that was all great, especially like you said, the translator. I love the fact that they use that. Then at times they use like they actually used like little word clips, or they use like 3 hours later, or they go back in time to further explain their point. Like, okay, well, here's what happened like 3 years ago to Atari. This is how this relationship spawned.
Part 1, part 2. I love the text like flashback.
Yeah.
And then like end of flashback.
Yeah, that was so good. That was yeah. It cuts back to like the serious situation, like especially that final battle, or that really climactic moment. I mean, where they actually find out that Spots is alive.
I love that, because sometimes movies that rely on flashbacks to tell the story, they can get like the storytelling can get messy, yep, and like you have to look for visual cues to tell you, okay, this is current.
This is the present. They get too bogged down in the past story, so you get confused, and then you're like, oh, what's going on? And
this one, They just
explain it so well.
This movie already had text like all around the screen explain everything, and it's like, and he just like used that to his advantage. Like, okay, we're just gonna tell people, hey, this is the flashback. This is the end of the flashback.
Right.
And it just works. It's just like
exactly. Yeah, I really appreciate all of that, and I think that they want Wes Anderson and all the team went above and beyond, and just making sure that you understood where you were in the film. You understood where we were progressing, how the story went, how far it was going, where we were going to lead. And yeah.
Try watching any of the Marvel Netflix shows, like all those have like flashback sequences. You gotta look for wait, are we still in a flashback? Oh no, we're not.
Right.
That gets confusing.
It's like, oh, now we're okay. Now we're in the
almost
present.
Every Marvel Netflix show does that.
Right, and this movie can execute with better than a set of franchises can. I'm
not saying they're bad. I love Marvel Netflix.
No, just in the flashback department.
They're fucking messy.
They're messy. Yeah.
Back to the movie though.
Yeah, we get to the point where they're looking for lost dog spots. We learn that, of course, Chief is a stray, right? And it's like, all right, well, now we get to see this dynamic of difference between house pets and strays, and there's a piece of dialogue before actually we get to Atari's arrival where it's like, I don't think I can do this. He's considering killing himself. Like, it's like that's the moment. That is the moment where we see the team's dynamic, where it's like, I'm on Trash Island. I'm a dog. I like having people around. I like being in the company of my master. That is where I am most comfortable with.
Yeah.
And without that, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm lost. I'm really like just confused, and I want to kill myself. And Sheep comes over and he's like, well, you know, he's a stray. He has a different. He has that perspective, that outside perspective that the group needs to feel much more confident in where they are. So you look at Sheep's perspective, and it's like, okay, well, you're not done yet. You go here, or you know, and he tells everyone the man up, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, just do what you got to do, because we're not. No one's giving up. No one's giving up, because I mean, we're on Trash Island. If we're doing this together. We're a team, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. I thought, you know, it's like it flushes out everyone in that moment, particularly Chief, of course.
What I also love about the movie is just like the boy was just kind of getting he was losing blood throughout the movie.
Yeah, you can start to see that. Yeah.
You like see him walking more limp and stuff.
Right. It was like a noticeable like progression of, you know, just things that were straining him. Where it's like, all right, the first moment I think we really start to see it. I mean, obviously we see the thing, the propeller piece in his head, or antenna piece in his head, and he gets it out, and he's like, he has a concussion because of it, or you know, he faints because of it, because I mean that's in his brain at this point. You then go forward, and it's like he's like talking to himself with the dogs, playing music, and it's like and going insane steadily to the point. Then like you see like as they're walking, you know, like and Chief is telling him the story about how he wasn't a stray. We see his feet are like you know, like really bruised. You know, by the time they get to the point where, you know, we almost think that all the other dogs are dead and it's just Chief and him, and we start to learn about that dynamic. You know, we get a more rebellious side of him, which is why he was. We understand that. I know I'm just cutting ahead, but you know that particular part of the story. That's where we see his rebellious side. Where he's like, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to go on this slide," and that's understood for his character, because he's the same character that literally would go off on a plane adventure, take a plane, fly out to the trash island to find his dog. That is his rebellious side, and he's going to keep rebelling. The dog says, "No, don't do it. I'm going to do it. Screw you. I want to have fun." You know, he's a kid.
Yeah. I love that. It's like the roles kind of reversed, because like the humans, the Japanese ones are more animal than the dogs, and like the dogs are the one trying to take care of the human, because like
right.
It's like because like they're the ones the humans speak a different language than the dogs do.
Exactly.
Which is weird. I was trying to figure out if like the humans can understand the dogs. Or...
There's a moment where like we look at where Atari like where I don't know who in the pack says something. I think he just moves with the dogs that are moving toward whatever location they're going to. It looks like he can understand them, but obviously he can't, because the only dog that can actually understand him is the one with the earpiece. Yeah. Which I didn't understand. I didn't get, okay, that earpiece is for them to understand. I didn't think that it was, okay, that's translating. I thought that was just, just a thing that, I don't know. Like, I didn't understand it at first. But, yeah. You know. Let me take a quick word. One sec. Fuck. What the hell? Piece of... No. What the fuck? I think was it either me or that was talking before?
I think it was me, but like
okay, well that fit naturally with the editing, you know. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like all I had to do is like say this. I think I talked about everything I could. This movie's great. Out of 10, I have to give it.
Oh, you're already scoring it?
Huh?
You're already scoring it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna score it.
Oh, because I thought you were gonna go through the.
What else did I go through?
Oh, I was gonna play with the fact that they talk about that they go through death very uniquely.
Oh yeah, I go through with it. Sorry.
Okay. So.
All right. For right now, it's 1 out of 10 until we finish the podcast.
It's like you slowly say 2 out of 10.
At default, if we
default 0 out of 10.
Yeah, 1 out of 10. If we don't finish this podcast, the rating will forever be 1 out of 10. This is one of the worst movies ever.
No, same as Emoji Movie. Yeah. So.
Emoji Movie's negatives.
Yeah. But when you look at so they're trying to find, of course, there's a part where, and we don't have to go through the whole plot anymore, but just to sort of wrap up around, I love the fact that in the way in which they discuss and handle the risk of death throughout this movie, because like you get to the lost dog spots, or the not lost dog, but they try to find the dog spots, and it's like one of the dogs just like understands, okay, well, we think this is where Spots would be, like, you know, and they go to his cage, and we see a bunch of dead bones, and it's like, we could conclude that easily that could have been Spots.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like too possible. Because, I mean, you're in Trash Island, like, they show the key is the way to access it. It's like, alright, he could be dead. Like, and that's it. And from that point forward, you know, we still are trying to find out where the story goes, but we don't know if the story's over. We don't know if they're actually going to, you know, find the dog, or what's going to happen for the rest of the story. We just the adventure just keeps going, and the idea of death throughout the entire thing just goes. Like, we get to the part where the scientist is poisoned. Yeah. You know, which is the same scene where we talk about the fish, and, you know, when they're cutting everything and they take their time with it. I thought it was very interesting that he tasted it. Like, you know, you know, like, it's almost as if he it's like he realized it was poison, but he still like tasted it. You know, because he goes off and like, it was weird. He's looking at it like, what is this? And I can't tell if he knew that it was poison, or if he was just like, and maybe that's again, I don't know if that's for
speculation.
That might be for our perspective, for our, like, everyone to understand their own perspective. But like, it just was such a I guess that's a good scene to like, okay, well, what actually was he thinking in that moment? Because we just don't know. Like, was he? This is a weird like seasoning. Is this the same seasoning, or is this poison, or is he thinking like, this is poison? Fuck it. I'm under house arrest. They're probably gonna kill me anyway. You know. That's the second death, and then we have the third possible death, which was the cart separating, and then the dogs going into that incineration plant, essentially, and them not dying, but in actuality being alive.
They play it off.
They play it off so well.
Well, it's like if this thing was working right, we'd be dead by now.
Yeah, it's like, man. I also love the fact that, you know, it's like, I never would have thought that Chief would ever be the same dog. It was going to come from the same litter as
when he got clean, I was like, where'd the white dog come from? Oh, snap!
I really do, like, I love that twist where it's like they're actually the same type of dog. Like, you think, oh, this dude's like a really bad animal.
No, my friend's like what? Oh, he Spots.
The exact right.
Like me with a pink nose.
Yep, same here. Where it's like, and he's like, I'm getting confused. Wait, what's going on? Yeah. Because it's like, oh, did they have amnesia, or was it the whole time he was Spot? It's like, what? Like, there's an understandable reason that he would be Spot. He could have been Spots. And then, of course, you get to the fact that Spots is now, you know, like, we have a pack of his own pack. And he wants to go off on his own and live alone with this pack, and that's his thing. And he wants to give the powers to the noose to the to Chief now. And I love the way in which this movie just goes about it at a mature fashion, at a level in which everyone wants to understand it at their own pace, at their own level. And that's it. It's just an adventure story where things just happen, and that's it. That, like, all right, this is happening, then this is happening, then this is happening. There's a threat here from the mayor. We got to get there before this, and that's it. They add stakes. They do a good job, and you know.
I love how they have these things about rumors, and like when the cannibal dog finds Spots, and he says he calls them cannibals. They get so offended.
Yeah, he's like, what do you what? To be honest, in that moment, I thought that they were going to be lying, because it almost was like a Scar. Yeah. It was almost a Scar moment, if you know what I mean. Like that dog almost felt like a Scar in the way in which the dialogue was very like questionable. Like you were feeling that this character was not trustworthy at all. When in reality, they don't do anything with it. They're just like, all right, like no, this dog just
like
talked.
after you realize they're like after you kind of see like his eyes water up and like it's kind of like and you see
More
the
they fake
emotions
tears,
like,
though, you know.
oh man, you just said you just said something uncalled for.
Right.
That's when you realize.
Yeah. Like, man, I I love that. Like the fact that they go with, okay, well, what if there were cannibals on this island? What if there were dogs that ate other dogs? Like that's a logical possibility. Great rumor from dogs that don't eat other dogs. Not real, as rumors tend to be. But yeah, this movie, you I just all right. At the end of the day, this movie was awesome. This movie was just.
If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I'd give it a solid 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
Or if you want me to be professional, fine, 10 out of 10.
This movie is. No, it's like cartoon chat. It's sort of casual. Yeah. So you don't really, you could have put 500 over 10.
500 out of 10. This movie is perfect. I don't care. I'm going to listen to reviews after this. If they find flaws in this, I don't care. This movie's perfect to me. This isn't, one of my favorite movies ever.
Exactly.
Existing now.
Like you said earlier, you don't, if you had compiled your favorite animated movies ever, this is on the list. You don't know where it is. You don't know what number it is, but it's up there.
On the list. Nothing's going to top it.
Right. And like I said in the beginning, this is the definition of what a best animated feature can be. From the sound design, from the music, from the dialogue, from the acting, from the stop motion quality, from the very detail, every bit of animation, every bit of what makes a film great was executed brilliantly in this movie. And I didn't think that this would be the case, but I think Incredibles 2 is now has a lot to do to actually make that list. This is my favorite movie of the year,
2018,
and I will be very disappointed if this doesn't win. This isn't like Kubo where you can see a few more flaws because it's okay, this is a little darker. This was a solid movie that was for all ages and you could really get with it. We're recording. Thank you, Felicia, for interrupting.
I like how they always have to announce their arrival.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the door, and the opening of the door. But yeah, this was a solid animated movie. This was beyond solid. This was the greatest animated movie I've seen since I think probably Kubo. I haven't seen the newer movie. I'm sure there are a few movies that I haven't seen that are really good as well.
I can't remember anything off the top of my head.
But this was a great entry in 2018. This was a great entry for the decade. This is this is one of those movies where you should really keep an eye on this for just a legendary top overall forever list.
This is a movie to make me glad I'm not dead.
Yeah, that's the fact that we were able to see this movie. It's we've seen a well executed, completely in every department movie that doesn't sink and should get the award next year. It just
if it doesn't, I'm opening my own award ceremony and giving it all of the awards.
Yeah, that's gonna
have a complete bias.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Incredibles 2 can win this year just because of I don't know. We haven't seen it. I'm going to stop comparing.
And this movie has a selected release too, which is weird.
No, what's great is that this thing has a selected release right now, but it's made more money per theater than any other movie in 2018, which means that it made more money than Black Panther in all of its selected theaters. So it only had a few theaters basically, but it still made more money.
I guess his word's getting around.
Yeah, so now it's going to have a wide release in a few weeks.
I can't wait. I'm going to see this movie again.
Yeah, I will too.
Because I have to wait for the wide release because the theater that's closest to us is the schedules are just the movie times are inconvenient for where my schedule is at work. So
exactly. It's you have to try and catch it at the time. Yeah, it's one of those weird ones. I really
did you see the movie for the first time in Chelsea or you went to DC like you said?
I went down to Landmark in DC and that's where I saw it. Really nice theater. We got to check out a movie there because it's I've only got same movies as the Charles. but just in a different theater.
I like going to different movie theaters, so I can only like I'm usually limited to exploring Baltimore. And
Right.
Yeah.
Because of your time. You know, you're like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I only have like 2 days to break, so, you know. But, yeah, Isle of Dogs. For me, you know, guys, you know, best animated movie of the year. Whenever I do the awards this year, I think there's not going to be a contest. Because this movie just, it's flawless victory. It is flawless victory, and I'm going to be talking about this for the next few years because I don't know if there's actually a contender.
No, Incredibles 2 is going to win because Pixar. And
that's what I mean, dude, like,
there's always a bias.
That's the fear, right? Like, I mean,
they don't care about animation because none of the Lego movies still never got nominated. Lego Batman was good, and Lego
movie.
The Lego movie was robbed
right.
of an award.
True. Yeah.
And like, cause Boss Baby and Ferdinand got in yet Lego Batman
did not. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you look at even Lego Ninjago, like people don't like that movie either. But I do think that, you know, level of detail in that movie, the fact that it still was made with the level of detail that it was, you still have to give it props for that when comparing to Boss Baby and Ferdinand. Yes. You know, like it's just one of those things. Yeah, it has to be nominated, but I think it has to win. That's the thing. And I'm also, before we actually close out, I'm really worried about Fox Searchlight. No, I don't, you know, the Fox is a part of the Fox film division, the 20th Century Fox division that's getting sold off to either Disney or Comcast. Or merging with them. I really am worried about the future of this because they make some brilliant movies. And if we remember last time with DreamWorks made brilliant movies before they were sold off.
What have they made so far? Is it just Fantastic Fox in this?
I think they made one more movie, but it's called American Imperium Pictures, Empirical Pictures. That's the sub brand name of the company. They make a number of other movies though through other companies as well. But you know. When you look at that, it's like you worry about the potential of that company becoming much smaller. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because
look at DreamWorks. Like I said before, look at DreamWorks and the way in which they changed so rapidly under the Comcast control in 2016. Once that came along, it's like, all right, well now so many products have been shelved, and they're much smaller now. So you know, it's a weird potential window. But yeah, 10 out of 10, obviously, guys. 20 out of 10, whatever. It's a great movie.
Best movie ever! I'm going to see it again.
Yeah, I'm going to just check it out a third time.
Screw it, let's go right now. Come on, just end this podcast. We're going to go see Isle of Dogs again. Yep. We're going to do another podcast repeating everything we just said.
I thought we were going to see Sherlock Gnomes. What? Oh. Oh, I was wrong. All right, guys.
I killed myself. You can't see it. This is an audio podcast, but I just stabbed myself in the wrist.
All right, guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, all right. Let's just wrap this podcast. All right. This has been a fun cartoon chat.
We're talking for like 2 hours.
Many errors, kind of, because of the interruption. I'm Brian Swan, as always. Find me on Democracy and find this man.
Canine Biscuits on
YouTube.
Canine Biscuits Gaming, I guess. I forgot my own URL at this point.
It's just Canine Biscuits. Isn't it? Just search on YouTube Canine Biscuits and then it's there.
It's there. Probably no fun. I don't have any views, so I won't come up in the search engine at all.
No, it asks, are you searching for Canine Biscuits like the dog biscuits, and then you say search instead for Canine Biscuits like
But Biscuits is spelled wrong on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. No, but then it says search instead for the actual spelling of yours. And then you click that, and then yours pops up first.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So, yeah.
I'm getting noticed by YouTube. Yay.
Congratulations.
I guess I'm gonna start making videos again soon. I think I have one in mind.
Only the 5th time you said this on the podcast, but ladies and gentlemen, we will see.
I'm not gonna make them. I quit. If you're listening to this, I'm dead. I left 3 Easter eggs inside all my videos. The first to find them inherits all my games.
I left 3 Easter eggs in my ass. If you can find them. Everybody played one. Oh my god, that was so stupid. You know. Yeah. All right, guys. For Cartoon Chat at Democracy, for Mark and K9 Biscuits, I'm Brian Swan, and as always, stay tuned for more. God, that took forever.